Hello everyone, welcome to the Sweeney Show, Business Law Podcast. My name is David Sweeney, and joining me here today is the tweeting goddess herself, Samantha Kelly. Samantha, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's great to have you here, and thank you for making the time.
We are recording this, are we? Sorry. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we were recording or not. Sorry.
No, we're
this is great opportunity. Thanks very much.
We're good. We're live. We're out to the audience now. I've seen your online profile grow over the last number of years. I actually was at a talk that you were speaking at a number of years ago at Gary Vaynerchuk in Dublin. And it just seems that you've grasped social media and Twitter in particular. How has that been for you? How did that start, and how did you get to where you are now?
Well, my backstory is I started a business in 2011, and it was a totally different business, and I had no marketing budget. So I started using, I knew I had to learn how to market the business, and my sister put me on Twitter, and I barely had a Facebook page, and I just started using it. But what I did was I was actually lonely, and I felt isolated working from home and starting a business. I had no experience or anything. And so actually what I started doing was talking to people. And I didn't realize I was building relationships, didn't know any of the lingo or anything like that. And that's really how it started. And I just found that I had a knack for it. And I think if you're an idiot offline, you're going to be an idiot online, So I just had this knack. I was good with people, and I genuinely wanted to help others. And I think that was really how it helped me to get to where I am now. So when I shelved the other business and I sold it, a local hotel asked me. They said, look, you seem to be really good at this Twitter thing. Could you help us? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then they said, well, look, actually, would you run it for us? Run the Twitter account. And they wanted to pay me to do that. And I was like, hang on now, here's a business idea. So then I just changed to Tweeting Goddess. And that's really where it all started. And I just love it because I realized I could reach a global audience. I realized that I could actually make an impact. And use my following for good, because I just seem to be gathering followers really fast. Of course, things like speaking on the same stage as Gary Vaynerchuk helped a lot. So anything like that where I just went out and I put myself out there, really just changed my life, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'd like to talk about social media and how you grew your business in a minute, but you just said something there at the start about being genuine. Do you think that's really an important thing for someone coming onto social media, is actually being their genuine self?
Oh, absolutely. And I know authenticity is a big word being thrown around at the moment, but I think if you're, people I can see through people who are just using me or something like that. I can actually see the good in people on Twitter. There's a whole psychology behind Twitter. And I think I really get it compared to even bigger companies don't get Twitter. They don't understand it. It's the one platform that people get baffled by. And it's really all about how you make people feel. That's all it is. It's about engaging. It's about giving value and sharing your knowledge and assisting others. And when people do figure that out, and even if you are not a nice person, people will suss you out, because you see, people forget and they might bitch about others online. And I get sent the screenshots, it's like people are very loyal to me, and it's funny, and I kind of can see, if an organization retweets other people and they're not retweeting me, it's really obvious that they're just purposely not retweeting me. And so I can tell who the good folk are and who the pretentious people are. I really can. Yeah, so it's great.
I kind of like Twitter. Let's go there. Donald Trump has basically brought Twitter to another level, hasn't he? Another audience. He's built his political campaign. People are watching his tweets daily. He has hundreds of millions of people following him. How has that just exploded? I suppose for the unknown, what is Twitter, and how has it developed from where it was, say, 7 or 8 years ago to where it is now?
Well, Twitter is really about getting a message into a certain amount of characters. So it's really about connecting with other like-minded people, finding your community that you want to hang out with, and then sharing knowledge with that community. So it has to be more succinct. You can't just write an essay. You need to actually keep your message short and sweet and to the point, and make it interesting enough that people will actually retweet it. And a retweet is like someone sharing your content. So it's like word of mouth on speed. And I find that people on Twitter, the audience, they're aged 35 to 55. the highest growing demographic would be the over 55s. And a lot of them are professional, urban. Actually, Cork and Dublin would be the biggest, demographic, on Twitter. Professional, urban. A lot of journalists are there, so it's great for getting the latest news as it happens. It's really powerful for that. Like, so if anything happens in the world, I always go to Twitter. It's even there before Sky
source.
News or whatever. So it really is effective and I know a lot of CEOs and decision makers are there. They might not necessarily be tweeting, but they're watching. Oh my gosh, they really are watching everything, and that's where they go to keep their finger on the pulse. So Twitter would be, if you're in B2B space, a lot of small business owners use it. Sure, look, that's where I started as a small business owner. So a lot of small business owners use it, and people are more likely to, I think it's the figure is 83% of business owners are more likely to buy from a small business they've engaged with on Twitter than any other platform. So the stats are there. The proof is there. I've proved it numerous times that if you bring hope and if you inspire others and give value, that's where Twitter will work for you. If you're just putting out ads all the time, it's not going to work.
So how do you then decide what's good content, what's engaging content? Is it that you should just be tweeting about things that you enjoy, and then hopefully that passion comes across and engages your audience? Or how do you construct a campaign or construct a strategy for your business to put content out there?
It's funny you said that. Like, do you tweet about things you enjoy? It's actually not about me at all. It's actually about my customers, my audience. So for example, for a solicitor, let's say, okay, so any solicitors listening in, what I would like to know as your potential customer, okay, so I am a potential customer. First of all, I'm a business owner. I'm going to need terms and conditions and all that kind of stuff and contracts. I could be an employer. So I would love you to share knowledge about stuff like that. So maybe write an article about, 5 things you need to think about before you employ someone. Or 5 things you need to think about before you get your divorce. 5 things you need to, like any of those kind of things are going to be useful for me. And if I find that you're giving value and I'm learning from you and I'm getting to know you as a human, David, I'd love if David put up, the Santa presents are ready for the little one, even something behind the scenes to show that human side. That's going to make me more likely to reach out to you if I have an issue than another solicitor. So it's about showing that value and human side. So I don't put out stuff. Now, in saying that, I do love tea and I do love chocolate and I do love the outdoors, and I talk about that kind of thing, but I know my audience enjoys that, because when I do put up a picture of me out walking with the dogs in Rosslare Harbour, that gets a lot more engagement than me putting up some Twitter tips, for example. Because it shows, and actually I don't wear makeup or anything, I just show it like I am. And I think that kind of helps as well, because they see, do you know what, she's just like me, and my biggest customers are people who want to be where I am now. So people that want to start a business, women in particular, who want to raise their profile, who want to be more successful. I actually have a lot of customers who maybe were lone parents like I was when I started. So when you have people that get you and what you've done and would like to be where you are, that's the kind of content you need to be putting out, stuff that's going to help them feel, do you know what, maybe I can do this too.
Do you think, that's interesting. Do you think that as a Twitter user, as a business, you should kind of be clear on your story, on the journey of your business?
Absolutely. That is the thing I always... I'm actually writing an article about how to create great content in 2021. It's funny. So I was just talking about this. The story is the most important part of... Like, okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say there's 2 hardware stores in Cork, and I want to go and I want to buy paint, and I want to buy a paintbrush, and I want to buy wall brackets or whatever. Mary in the hardware store at the top of the town is always gossiping and always talking about other people and, talking about COVID and giving out, right? And then Joanne down the other end of the street is always very warm and very kind and smiles when I go in and gives me lots of attention, asks how my children are and stuff like that. Which shop am I going to go to? I'm going to people buy from people.
Yeah.
So I want to go to the place. But so with small business owners, the advantage over you going to a big agency, let's say you wanted me to manage your social media. You're going to come to me because you know me, you're built a relationship with me, rather than a big agency because you know you're getting me. You're not getting the junior or the intern that has just started and isn't trained and isn't knowledgeable in what they're doing yet. Nothing against interns at all, by the way. I think they're brilliant. They're great. It's great to be able to experience real world working, to get experience. And, you know, I just feel, you know, when you come to a small business owner, you're getting that personal touch. You're getting that passion, that drive. They're hungry for business, David.
Yeah.
They have suffered so much this year and they're hungry for business. They're willing to work. They want to work. If they didn't want to work, they wouldn't start a business. They'd just go on the dole. So they want the work. They want to show what they can do. So that's why Twitter works particularly well for small business owners, because I certainly buy from small business owners as much as I can. So yeah, it's really important to get that story, the story behind the scenes, and that's really what drives my business, I think, as well, because I have that story, you know, the backstory.
It's engaging. And just how do then, if you're starting out on social media and you see there's like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, there's tweets, fleets, all kinds of stuff out there. It just seems to be a lot of noise, a lot of distraction. How do you decide what's best for you, what's best fit for your business? What platform is best?
You find out where your audience are. That's what you need to do. It's not about you. Now, in saying that, if you're really, really cool on Instagram and you have a big following, yes, use Instagram. But are your customers there? Are they going to buy from you? You could have an audience that absolutely love listening to you waffle on video, but are they actually going to purchase something from you or do business with you? So if you're a business owner, you need to think, okay, maybe my audience are on TikTok. Maybe I need to be targeting these young people. You know, so you need to decide where you're, like for a solicitor, for example, I would definitely be Twitter or LinkedIn. Definitely Twitter and LinkedIn. And LinkedIn, actually, I've been using a lot more lately. And I would actually, the human side on LinkedIn is really important now. It wasn't so much before. It was very kind of professional and your CV and, you know, but, you know, I've seen that the articles that do best and the posts that do best are the ones that have the more human side. And if you see the leaders on LinkedIn, that's exactly what they're doing. And they're giving value. I go live onto LinkedIn. I don't know if you have LinkedIn Live yet. Definitely apply for it. I'll let you know how to do that later. But when you go live onto LinkedIn, you know, it's actually give value, you know, show them something that they don't know, that they didn't know yesterday. Help them to learn. Then they look forward to your lives. They look forward to your videos. Look forward to your posts. But definitely bring that human side in and ask and engage with your audience. You know, like the people listening to this. Like I'd like to say hello to all the people listening to this right now, because it makes them feel part of the actual broadcast, the podcast. You know, that kind of thing.
That's interesting about LinkedIn. That there's. I think LinkedIn is about to blow up. I think it's like Facebook 8 years ago. I think it's huge, the potential out there. I think it's underutilized, that people haven't harnessed it properly. I think there's a lot of people watching it, but they're not actually putting out their content. But I have noticed where you said about showing your personal side. And do you remember a few years ago where like Instagram was all about coffee cups and this kind of thing, and then it moved into a more kind of professional, where if people are posting on LinkedIn outside of their day-to-day job or their actual profession, it seems to get comments of, this isn't Facebook.
But that's from people who you really don't care about anyway. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Those people, I was actually, someone said that to me once on LinkedIn, and I was like, who is this guy? Who is he like? I don't even care what he thinks. Do you know what I mean? Like people... like I probably have more customers than he'll ever have. You know, I mean, I probably have more followers than he'll ever have. I mean, the people don't forget, the people on LinkedIn are also humans. The people like solicitors are also humans. Accountants are also humans. You know, and we have to remember that everybody this year, every single person has suffered this year in some way, whether it's mental health or staying sane, family member being sick or dying, God forbid, you know, and, you know, everybody has suffered in some way, business closing and stuff. So, you know, this is going to sort the men out from the boys, this pandemic, because I tell you, I don't know if that's the right saying, but it's going to, you know, people who stomped over others to succeed, who, bitched about others, all of those people, nobody is interested in that anymore.
Yeah.
What people are interested in is hope, compassion, help. If you can help people get through this in some way, whether that's helping them get on Twitter or giving them something that's going to help them succeed, or a useful introduction. Don't forget the power of a useful introduction. A useful introduction can make the difference between a small business owner succeeding and not succeeding. And if somebody can make one useful introduction, I try and do one useful introduction every day. Like yesterday, there was a lady, a journalist, looking for a small business owner who'd started a business in the pandemic. I tagged 3 business owners I knew. One of them got featured in the Independent, full page. Delighted she is.
Wow.
And that was one that helped change her business, because she's getting loads of sales now, and it's really like LinkedIn. I don't care what those people that would say that this is not Facebook, believe it or not, there's LinkedIn stories now.
Yeah.
So it kind of is going a little bit the way Facebook has gone. Yeah. So it's like, well, tough. You're going to have to find another platform to complain on, because this is the one that's going to shine, I feel, in 2021, definitely. So now, not saying that my favorite's Twitter, obviously, but I do feel that LinkedIn has a lot more coming.
Potential.
Yeah.
Then that's interesting you said about, referring people onto a business, because you've actually set up your own network, the Women Inspire Network. How did that come about?
Yeah, I did. I said it. I needed one myself. I actually, Women's Inspire Network, I called it Women's Inspire Network because WIN, win, join the winners. I kind of stick with the winners kind of thing. So I started because I felt a bit isolated. I've always been working from home. You see, I've been really lucky in a way with this pandemic. I've always worked from home. So I know exactly what people are going through. And I know how isolating it is. And I know how lonely it can be. There's nowhere more dangerous than my own head. Yeah. There's nowhere more dangerous than me being in my own head, asking myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I going mad here? Am I being paranoid? All of these things. And it's nice to have someone to say, do you know what, can we just jump on a call and have a coffee? And we do this all the time. And I just said, you know what, I'm going to create a network for women just like me who are isolated, working from home, maybe missing that coffee water cooler moment, not being able to get out to events. Like I had a daughter who had special requirements, so I had to go to appointments all the time. I couldn't take a day out, get a babysitter, drive up to Dublin, stay overnight. I mean, I couldn't do that. So for me, I needed a place where I could meet people online. So that's how I started it. And it's a subscription model now. It's 20 a month, and we do weekly webinars. We have a private Facebook group. I'm actually just writing an article now. I'm uploading onto the website, so even the members can upload something to show their expertise. So we also have journalists in there, so they get PR opportunities. Wow. So they won't get that on their own, but together we will.
If there is any female solicitors out there watching this, how would they get in touch with you?
Oh, they can just go to women'sinspirenetwork.com or follow me on Twitter, tweetinggoddess.com. We actually have Douglas Law solicitors are members of Women's Inspire Network, and they are huge supporters of us, and they sponsor every event we do. But just to let you know, like we actually, it's so helpful for the members because they get that bit of mentoring, they get that free call, but then sometimes they say, do you know what, I actually want to work more with you, or I actually do want to do business with you. And then they get business. So it's about giving on both sides, and Grania has been very supportive of us and very helpful to me and the network with issues that pop up from time to time. And our network is international, it's global, it's not just Ireland. And I knew that, you see, there was a gap there as well with the social media activity of other networks. And I felt, you know what, I'm after sending them a message a week ago and they still haven't got back to me. Like, that's unacceptable in an online world. So I knew if I had a stronger social media presence and a more responsive social media, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, LinkedIn. I knew that if I responded faster, I'd get the customer. And I've done it so many times. They said, you know what? I asked that other crowd, but they never got back to me. So yes, I'll join your network. So it's like that's, and also, there are no bitches in there. And that's really important. We need to surround ourselves with good people, male and female. We all know who those people are. We need to surround ourselves with good people. And I just have created, I suppose, it goes by the leadership as well. You know,
Yes.
I'm not into that. You
Yeah.
know, I can't be bothered. You know, I've worked too hard to get to where I am now, and there's plenty of business for everyone. So I just want good people around me that are going to support me and, you know, celebrate each other's successes as well. You know?
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's very inspiring. And all, with the impact of COVID, how have you find that has affected people's businesses? People who have like already been online, are they using it more? People who haven't had a social media presence, are they now? Do you now think they're coming online?
Oh, absolutely. I have been so busy. Now, when it happened at the start, I thought to myself, do you know what? People are going to cancel their subscriptions. Like, this is what I was thinking. I was thinking ahead, which is what the normal entrepreneur does anyway. They always think ahead, plan B or whatever. And I said, you know what? How am I going to stop them from cancelling? I know, I'll add more value. So what I did was I reached out to those people I couldn't normally get on my webinars. So people like with higher profiles. And guess what? They were available because they had no work coming in either. So I was able to get, you know, Keith Barry. I was able to get Mary Kennedy. I was able to get different people that I always wanted to get on the webinars. And so I added more value. And when I added more value, people didn't cancel because they knew that they were actually in the right place. And because we didn't meet face-to-face, we only meet face-to-face once a year at our annual conference, I knew that I was going to be in a good position for these women that were missing the networking. So our membership went up 28% during this pandemic, which was fantastic. And also we did our annual conference. It went ahead online, and we had 297 people from all over the world turned up for it. So, and they paid 20. I only charged 25 euros for the tickets, which was really low, but I wanted to show potential new members what was possible. And when you can do that and get people together online and give value, people will come. People will turn up, you know. It's all about, I remember I was talking to a company recently, and they were saying, oh, we want to reach out to the small business owners, and we want to do this, and we want to do that. And I was like, that's actually not going to work, because they were actually doing what they thought small business owners needed. But right now, what small business owners need is what Virgin Media is actually doing. And I've no affiliation with Virgin Media at all, but they have a thing called backing business. So if anyone's listening today, like definitely backing business at virginmedia.ie, send in a video and they could feature you on the TV. They're giving free airtime to small businesses, which I think is the most helpful thing that can be done for a small business right now. Also, small businesses, they want to learn how to make sales online. They want to learn how to do a business plan for 2021. They want to learn how to get through this, some of them just, you know. So I knew, because I was that small business owner, so I know what they need. I know it's so important for you to acknowledge their humanity as well, and the fact that they are, you know, relying on your sales to come in to, you know, to pay the bills, you know. And so it's important for bigger organizations like corporates to get in there and get into the small business community, you know, or get someone like me on board who actually does know how these people are thinking and what they're going through. But that's the same with any community. So if you wanted to create a community around, you know, solicitor's practice, it's about, okay, what do your customers need right now? What is going to help them? What is going to inspire them? So it's actually about them. It's not about us, actually. But when you do that, you will stand out from the rest. Trust me, after this pandemic, the people who have helped and reached out to their current customers, don't be worrying about getting new customers all the time. What about the ones you already have? Reach out to them. So maybe, for example, if you are a clothes shop, let's say, and you weren't online and now you have a website, reach out to those customers who probably don't know how to order online. Create a video and say, this is how you order a jumper. You click here, you click here, you click here, you know, and make it as simple as possible. Or maybe organize a little meetup where they can just click a link and join you and have a little cup of tea with them. When you do that, they will buy from you.
Wow, listen, thank you so
much.
much.
Went off there on one, didn't I?
No, that's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It's been very, very interesting and really inspiring. You're obviously looking ahead now with positivity and with optimism in spite of the COVID. What's the plans for yourself and for your business into the future?
Well, I have a masterclass actually in online success coming up in January. I don't know when this is going out, but definitely that's coming up, and
Okay.
that's 3 weeks. So it's three Wednesday mornings. That's been really successful. So I'm going to do another one of those, and then I have the Women's Inspire Network. Obviously, we'll probably do another conference. There's International Women's Day coming up. So really, it's just about growing the network at the moment and adding more value. A revamp of the website, maybe a little slight rebrand. So it's about growing it continuously. When you grow and you have a community gives you power,
Yeah.
because when you have a community behind you, it does give you power in a way that bigger brands want to be part of that community. They want to come in, they want to get those customers, especially like we all need banking, we all need insurance. Actually, we don't have a good insurance person in the network yet. So if there is anyone listening in the insurance industry, definitely reach out. Like we all need these things. We need laptops, we need phones. So when you have a community of people that need those things, the bigger brands will be interested in coming to it.
Wow, listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and we sincerely wish you all the very best for the future.
You too, and happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas.